Good morning everyone and welcome back to the Two-Headed Wolf Gaming channel and last Epoch as we're about to become a Spellblade. I'll tell you what, I'm never getting bored of this view. And here we are about to become a Spellblade, a mage who has mixed martial prowess and cunning with their mastery of spells to face enemies in close range. As passives, we gain forward on melee hit and mana spent on melee attacks is converted to ward. Pretty good, we can become quite tanky with this. And we unlock the skill called Shatter Strike, a sweeping melee attack that strikes enemies in a circle around us, dealing cold damage and instantly kills frozen enemies below 100 health. Oh, this is going to be good. Has a cost of 15 mana, it's decently high, and we're doing 88 damage. In comparison to Mana Strike where we're doing 85, okay. But this is cold melee and area. Should be interesting to see it in action. As I said before, I am going to despecialize the Mana Strike because we want to replace it with Shatter Strike because it has cold damage and we're going to focus a lot on increasing that cold damage by crafting, finding better equipment, things like that. So far I haven't done a whole lot with Mana Strike. I really tried to get a bit more speed, a bit more area. I went with some ward, but that's about it. Didn't level up a whole lot. And to be honest, it wasn't that great. I mean, in the end, I've used Glacier, I've used Elemental Nova and Snap Freeze a lot more than I have used the Mana Strike. I feel like I'm not exactly in the right spot here to fully go melee, but maybe now that I've picked up the mastery, it's going to work better. Over here, I kept investing in Glacial Might just to unlock the next levels where we wanted to go to. We're doing 54% more damage, but it also costs 6 more mana. Not a big deal, all good. I want to pick up Freezing Cascade over here where we are going to cast Freezing Cascade on hit, creating a cascade of Freezing Novas that chain between enemies. Did I say freezing a lot? Yep, and I'm gonna say a bit more. We get a 100% chance to cast Freezing Cascade and it also gives it a 5-second cooldown, okay? And this one does what exactly? Whenever an enemy is hit by a Nova, another one is created around them. So it's multiple Novas in a row. Good. Well, we'll invest in this one and we shall see it in action. Over on Shattered Strike, let's see what we have available for us. We can go up to the north. Icy Flow, Shatter Strike costs less mana and grants you ward when you attack with it and hit at least one enemy. I do like that. 10% mana efficiency is pretty good on an attack which has a 15 cost. And getting free ward, it's better than nothing. Definitely needs a bit more investment to become useful or efficient. Shatter Strike deals damage in a large area and penetrates enemies' cold resistance. I do like that a lot. Right? Increasing the area of effect is really good, and getting past cold penetration, cold resistances is better, especially as we're trying to do a lot more damage. I think going with absolute zero here, Shatter Strike deals more damage but has reduced attack speed. Maybe that's one way to go, because we can go with more damage to high health enemies. Knockback at overlap, I don't really care about that. Kill threshold against frozen enemies, 50% per point. So we're starting at 100 and then we're going to 150 up to 300? Really? Can we go that high with obliteration here? That would be crazy if that would work. Like, kill threshold per skill used increased by 25% based on instant kill. Kill chance 100%. Dude, this seems crazy and overpowered. Like, I'm curious now. Frost by chance, this one dealt more damage over time, yes. I don't think I'm really worried or really looking for damage over time, but maybe later on. Freeze rate multiplier 50 per point. Shatter Strike casts ice spikes from the edge of its area of effect. Ice spikes are cold spells. They scale with intelligence, spell damage, and cold damage. We could do even more speed and more damage. Frozen ground. Shatter Strikes leaves a patch of frozen ground for 5 seconds, which chills all enemies who walk on it, reducing their attack speed and all that. Yeah, movement speed, attack speed. Man, this more armor, more ward, cold resistance on heat. I want all of them. I guess the only thing I don't want is this one where we move from Ignite to Frostbite. At the end of the day, I haven't really invested in Ignite. But other than that, all of this is so amazing. Where do I want to go first? I feel like going with this. No, you know what? Or should I? Let's go with this. 3 points here. I want to get the Winter's Boon. Shatter Strike instantly kills frozen enemies that are below a higher health threshold, proportional to how many unique skills you have used since using Shatter Strike to a maximum of 4. I am using these two. I'm definitely using the Nova and the Ice Cone thing. I'm also using Shatter Strike, so those will be free skills, I would say. And who knows when we use the other ones as well. Either way, we're gonna pick this one up. And then we're gonna go this way where we can cast some ice spikes first of all. This is crazy. But let's try it out. Before we jump into combat, let's also spend a bunch of passive skill points. At this moment, I want to spend 3 points here in Mage Flurry just to increase that attack speed and also get a 9% reduction to Snap Freeze. This also unlocked Rune of Winter. Increase your chance to freeze and converts Lightning Blast and Volcanic Orb to cold spells, changing their base damage type to cold and giving them a chance to freeze. Lightning Blast gains a base freeze rate of 46. Okay, Volcanic Orb, we don't care about those, we're not using them. Freeze rate multiplier 20% per point. That's about it. It's just freeze rate multiplier. Do we want that or do we want straight up damage? I guess I'll take a 20% there, but then we're gonna go with straight up damage. Over on this side, we can get the Ice and Fire, where we can increase our cold damage, chill chance with cold skill, increase fire damage, and increase chance to ignite. You know what? I don't really care that much. Nearby enemies are getting chilled. So if we were to invest 3 points, like 1, 2, 3, and another 2 to get here, so that's 5 and an extra point here, that would be 6 in order to chill nearby enemies. I guess that would be strong, but it's not exactly what I'm looking for right now. We'll get into the Spellblade. We have 2 points, at least we'll get something. Elemental Affinity, increase elemental damage and elemental resistances, okay. Infused weapons, your melee attacks deal additional damage. The type of damage added depends on the damage type of the attack. Okay, plus 2 cold damage for melee attacks. Or we could get, you gain ward when you use an elemental melee attack and hit at least one enemy. 5 per point. Yep, let's get at least 5 there. It adds up with all that we have over here. Do I want a resistance or a multiplier? I guess I want a multiplier and a resistance rather than base flat damage. We're at 116 cold damage. Not great, but not bad either. Okay, the attack is looking decently. It's not really freezing at this point. I think I need a bit more of a modifier. But as you can see there, yeah, this is what I was really worried about. The fact that we're using a lot of mana, which makes this really bad for us. Now, if I was to look over here, do we get any kind of mana recovery? Mana cost 90% per point and mana efficiency. So if we invest 5 points here, we would have a 50% mana efficiency, which would be good. How about crafting? What could we do with the forge that would give us a bunch of mana? Let's see, this one has a lot of free slots. It's just a normal level of mana strike. Okay, this one would just increase the skill mana strike, which we had before. I might want to change things around here. For example, throw this Shatter Strike instead of this one, and then Mana Strike the other. That might be the case. At the moment, we're just gonna add a bunch of modifiers here to mana. I don't have anything. Apparently not. Let's throw in some cold damage then. Oh, I can just throw cold resistance. Then let's get a bit more armor on it. We'll get a bit of dodge as well. But it has no more forging potential, so it stays like this. Okay, well, where can we get some mana regeneration? Maybe on our rings? There's nothing that works there. Here we're full. Here we might be able to throw something in. But we do not have any kind of shards which would help with that. That is a bit unfortunate there. So I guess we'll leave it as it is. Maybe some shred armor. Let's add that. Because we're doing melee damage. And I guess the reality of it is that we will have to replace one of these with this, with the Mana Strike. This one has a huge mana cost. However, it's one of our high damage dealing attacks. Well, sacrifices have to be made. Let's see this in action. Okay, definitely not working exactly as I wanted or I imagined it to be. High mana cost. But the attack is actually good. I mean, it looks really good, and I'm guessing we're doing a lot of instant kills. And I guess if you're putting it in a balance, that's actually good. Getting instant kills constantly on weaker enemies. Don't mind if I do. Well, we are gaining a lot of ward. Would you need a flame ward? I don't think so. Let's throw Glacier in. The reason why is because I can do this every once in a while. Right, and this attack does 469 damage, which allows us to kill a lot of the enemies which are tougher. I can do a bunch of these attacks, and then I can regenerate a bunch of mana by using this strike, the Mana Strike, and then we can go with the freezing attacks to clear the rest of the enemies. I like that. At the end of the day, I might need a bunch more levels here to make this super efficient, this Shatter Strike. And there we go. Let's try it. At the end of the day, we're here to put this build to work. We are trying some experiments. We're really going to work it. And to be honest, I think I've changed my mind, but this might be the first class I'm actually going to take to the end game. This feels very interesting to me. This might be the best puzzle I've ever had in an ARPG. Or no, in a simple ARPG. Because Path of Exile is a huge puzzle, I feel, and I don't have the patience to gain all the knowledge in one go, to be honest. I've gained a lot of knowledge about Path of Exile over the years, and there's still more to get. Unfortunately, by that point, I think I'm getting into Path of Exile 2. And since I am going to be in Path of Exile 2 from the start, then I guess I'm going to be learning that game a whole lot better than Path of Exile 1. These large enemies definitely need a bit more damage. This Glacier is actually coming in handy. It might be the next attack which I am upgrading. Either that or I guess Frostbites is one of those things which I should be getting probably for all these cold attacks. Just to do that damage over time. Right? Do we have Frostbite here? Right? No. The Elemental Nova does not have it. But this one does, right? It was this at the top. Frostbite chance, 25%. Yeah, I think this is what we need to do. Because we're doing the attacks, we're running out of mana, so getting some damage over time is the way to go, I would say. Over on this side, let's get more elemental damage and resistances. If I was to use just this attack, it wouldn't be too bad on mana. You know what? I am using Mana Strike at the moment. The other thing that I could do is whenever I get the chance, oh, I could throw focus in right now. However, it still occupies a slot, right? And in this situation, because we are making ourselves a melee build, getting mana by causing a lot of damage feels like the better choice. Decisions.
The Countess had a philosophy.
But I'm enjoying it. Where are we heading now? I think there's a portal here. There's a shortcut through this area. There is a way in which you could skip some campaign or make a lot of progress through the campaign by unlocking these paths here. So once you have a key, and I have a few of these, you can unlock these doors. You have to go through the dungeons, actually win, and they can be pretty tough from what I've tried before. And then you can move to the Corrupted Lake. And you remember, if you remember, we're usually going through this area, like through here, and then we're going towards the Corrupted Lake. So it's a bit of a shortcut to go on this path. I think it even says here, right? Alternate leveling path. This route will bypass many areas but require access and completion of Lightless Arbor. Meaning that I don't think this mage has the potential to do so. But we can give it a go at the end of the day. I don't know, it would make the leveling path a lot smoother in the future, I think. I don't know if you always need a key in order to unlock those dungeons, or once you defeat it, maybe you're always gaining the access to the shortcut. I hope that would be the case. But then again, I've dropped a bunch of keys while playing, so maybe it's not that bad. Do that. Actually, that's what I should be doing first, right? I need to be doing these novas. And I need to prepare and keep the fizzing attacks in order to instant kill the enemies, right? At this moment, I am at what, 100 health plus how many multipliers? 100 health with 150% multiplier. I don't know if it multiplies. I think it just goes with 150. Probably. And then another 25 per health use. So let's say that we get to around 100 health. Nova, and let's see. Okay, Nova works. I should probably be getting a few more freezing multipliers on the Nova as well. Another part of me says that maybe I should specialize in Mana Strike at level 20. Just because that mana regeneration was really good. Nice. Did you see that spider at half health? We just took it out. So where do I go next? Freeze rate multiplier? Yes. 50% extra chance to these enemies. Now, I'm imagining that this is going to be good for us. Nice. Throw in a glacier, then go into the melee, kill all the freezed enemies if you are not out of mana. Yeah, that will be the challenge. I guess I have to look for mana regeneration. I need attunement points. Let's see how quickly we kill it. Ah, not on this occasion. This is another scepter which gives us a bunch of spell damage, some melee damage, cold damage, increased cold damage, and chance to blind on hit. Okay, we're losing the stun rate, but we're gaining something which we use a lot. Do we have any kind of mana regeneration here? No. Mana gain? Chance to gain mana, 6% per point. However, it's quite late. Over on this side, there's not a whole lot. I guess the intelligence points would give me what? Each point of intelligence grants 4% ward retention and improves skills that rely on carefully studied magic, such as Lightning Blast and Mana Strike. Yeah, unfortunately it doesn't give us mana regeneration. It's the attunement, right? Attunement. Yeah, I don't see it. Maybe I'm writing it wrong. What do I want next? I guess I keep wanting Elemental Affinity for now. The reason why that circle was larger was because it became that wave that we've upgraded. Okay. Now we're at 241 damage and 333 damage on average estimated. That's pretty good. Oh, it's because we have this critical. That's why. I was wondering where I got that from. So the main lesson here is go critical, right? Go crazy on criticals. Let's see if we can take down one of these mages. I mean, we can, but the main question is how quickly. Let's freeze him. Ooh, the freeze did not work. definitely slower. When I'm thinking about yesterday and the amount of fire damage that we did, it definitely feels on a slower pace. Though yesterday I had like what, 3, 4 uniques equipped. I think at the end of it we had 5, because I also had the ring. And one of the things which I could do, and it might be useful to do, is to go and specialize in this mana strike in a way that it generates a lot of mana. One of the things which I can pick very quickly is this mana gain per hit. 3 points, that would be 9 extra mana. And let's see, where else? There was something a bit about efficiency. Oh, everything is with mana because it's mana strike. Where is it? Where is it? Mana gain while out of mana plus 5 per point, so we can get another 15 there. Mana gain 20% per point. Mana gained on crit, that's another thing. But there we go. So we could get a bit more mana by going on this path, and that might not be a bad idea. Or maybe even here, Bountiful Victory, mana gained on kill 3 per point, mana gained on rare or boss hit 3 per point. Overall, maybe that is the way to go. Given the consumption that I am having, given that it's probably a whole lot better to think about Shatter Strike as a way to freeze enemies and to instantly kill them, right? Go full investment on that. Sacrificing a skill point and a specialization slot in order to use my more powerful skills is not a bad way to go, right? Even yesterday when I used that super powered Fireball and Meteor Strike, mana was always a concern, but I had like this really big mana pool. That's something impressive. I had the extra mana which we gained from specialization, right? From the sorcerer, 50 extra mana, plus everything I had. So I am thinking that maybe that's the way to go. With a bit of mana regeneration. And I could do it through focus. But since I am a melee fighter, I feel like investing in mana strike might be the best way. Giving us a bit more DPS in the overall gameplay. Now let's see, what are we going to go for here? I guess we're gonna go with even more percentage. Flame Reef. A melee attack that releases a wave of flames from your weapon, cleaving through enemies in a cone in front of you. Deals up to 50% less damage to distant enemies, deals 16 additional base fire damage. Other added melee damage applies at 160% effectiveness. And I had yesterday a ring which was exactly for this skill called Flame Reef. Well, it's not the build that we're going for today, but it's something to keep in mind in the future. Let me get chills here. Yeah, I am also going to invest first of all in 100% chance to chill. That reduces the movement speed and the attack and cast speed of enemies, and I like that. I think the next thing to go is 2 points up here to Frostbite. Okay, freeze the enemy, run out of mana. We gain a bit of experience, right? More experience? Yes. Let's see how quickly we can get ourselves another buff. I'm not gonna look at equipment, we're just gonna try to kill as many of these as possible during this time. Come on, try to get more. If this is the end of the road, still, we got about half a level. That's good. Or you, what do we want? More freeze rate multiplier, more shield chance, more damage against shield? I think that's the way to go, right? Or more damage and more area. You know what? More damage, more area. We'll start with that. As soon as we get the maximum there, then we can go to the next level. Both of these have area modifiers. All of these have area modifiers. That could work. Maybe later on we can find an idol which increases the area of effect for skills, and that would be very useful.
Go on.
What is that sash? It seemed like it was better. "27 mana, 18% increased dodge rating, 8% physical resistance, some necrotic damage, cooldown recovered for traversal skills, but we lose one of them." Yeah, sure, I'll get the extra mana there, even though it's not gonna make like this huge difference. Crazy amount of damage which I'm doing in some of these fights is so nice. And I think I've done well to start the episode at the point where we picked up the Spellblade mastery. Because it is such a big change and it is such a weird sort of build that it does require a bit of knowledge. Now, I'm not gonna attack another mage. I feel like that would be a bit boring, as they are highly tanky. And I am not at the moment where I can kill them quickly. Because I can't, other than getting some good equipment from them at random, maybe good, maybe bad, they don't leave behind enough experience for me to say, hey, let's do this. Warrior's Third Eye. Increase physical damage. I have something which increases freeze rate multiplier, and I would like that. And as I was saying, I think it's good that I started the episode at the point where we picked up the mastery and actually went with it, because there was a lot to learn from this character. The Mage is weird, like the Spellblade is actually very weird just because of the amount of mana it consumes. Making a melee character out of it is a challenge in itself. It feels like there's so much potential here to do a lot. However, the downside is that you need a lot of energy in order to put it to good use. Yes, this is the focus. Yes, I could call it a focus. This is the focus of this class, where you have to fix this problem. And every class has a problem like this one. Whether it's, for example, if you think about the rogue, the melee rogue, it had those huge attacks. However, when it came to defense, it was very weak. Very few options, very squishy. That is what you need to fix there. On Sentinel, it almost, unless you were a paladin with an aura which cleansed, you'd be poison. But I guess poison is dangerous for everyone. But it felt a lot like the Sentinel was very weak against damage over time, whether it was poison or whether it was bleeds. Let's see, what do we throw here? Flame Walker. Each second if you are moving or using a melee attack, you have a chance to cast Fire Aura. This chance is doubled if you do not have an active Fire Aura. You can have multiple stacks of Fire Aura at once, 10% to activate and do some damage around. Okay, interesting. Or Elemental Strikes, which give us 10% extra cold melee attacks. We're going towards Frozen Steel, so probably getting at least 1 point there is good. Far as Shattered Strikes, we said that we're going up here to Frostbite, right? Probably maximizing mana efficiency is also very good. And for you, I would, on one hand, would love to throw in Glacier, but I cannot leave it here. We definitely need mana, and we need it quick. In order to be efficient with these attacks, we need a lot of mana and fast. Otherwise, there's no point in having a lot of high-level skills if you do not have the mana to use them. And we could go in the way that I've gone so far. You've seen that it worked even with the normal mana strike, but getting even more would be better. Mana gain while out of combat +5. And then mana gain 20% per point. So I invest 1 point here, which gives us some speed. I could actually go on this side rather than go through this. Mana strikes deal more damage while you are out of mana. Well, that doesn't matter. Area of effect matters because we need to hit the enemy in order to recover mana, right? Then we can go with mana drain. And mana gain while out of combat. You know what? Let's go with 40% mana gain there. And I could even go with this one. Double the mana gained. Get 120% extra area. We would get a cooldown of 4 seconds. And the attack speed reduced by 20. If I use one of these attacks only in between the other elemental attacks, this might actually work. And you know what? Let's try it before we close the episode, right? I can despecialize here. I can do this without a worry. And I'm gonna throw in here, right? Because we start at level 4. So we're gonna go... Oh, no, we either way need to have 2 points before we go there. Okay, well, I'm gonna go forward like this for now. This should make everything a bit more efficient. Now let's see. I'm gonna attack a lot of enemies, and now I'm gonna do this. Let's see, where is the next crowd? Here is the next crowd. I'll throw that in, and now I'm going to go here. Yeah, we're getting about 20-30 mana per hit, which allows us to go even crazier on our skills. And we have a bit more range, but we will want all the rage in the world. And that targeting right there was bad. Okay, I have to learn a bit more. I have to get used to this. I will start gathering better equipment, and I will also farm for some extra levels. And I'll see you at around level 35, where we can fully upgrade this build. And I am curious to see it. I really am. I'm hoping that we will have enough points to make this work in a way that you will look at it and say, hey, I want to play that. But that's something we'll have to see in the next episode. So, looking forward to seeing you there. Until then, I wish you all to have a wonderful day.